Welcome back. This is Big with G6. So we're here in the city of Porter Ranch today. You know, they say it never rains in sunny California. Don't believe that. This project here, we had a nightmare situation where we were working in a new area, being our first time in Los Angeles. You know, coming into a new city, you got to know the local codes, you got to know the system, the way the city halls work, or permitting and planning departments. It took a long time to get permits. By the time we got started, had to wait for inspectors. And long story short, we had a series of rains that we never see in Southern California. This pool caved in. We had to rip everything out, redo it, and finally got past inspection a couple of days ago. So here we're doing back-to-back Shotcrete shoots here at the Franklin project. So let's check it out. You know, we don't really like going into new cities that are too far away from us. We're located in Corona, California, so this is about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive for us. This was a special case. The guy's a personal friend. I wanted to take care of him. He said there's a lot of local builders here that he felt were gouging customers. So I looked at what he was looking to do and said we could do better. So here we are. We did a custom design for him, utilized all of his backyard. It's very tight. We were able to fit a full-size pool with a raised spa, a raised wall water feature, retaining wall with an outdoor kitchen and a bench area. So this area will be a fire pit. So what I was telling you earlier about the nightmare situation, this is very sandy, clay-like soil. So when it got soaked for 2 weeks straight, it all caved in. We tried to get the mud out. Inspector came out and said you have to rip everything out, over excavate 18 inches, compact to 90%, bring them back out here, redo the rebar, redo the plumbing, and basically start from scratch. That happened twice. So a lot of builders, in this case, they would cut and run, and this is where you make a name for yourself. So, you know, it is what it is. You take your L's, but you can't get to M's without passing a couple of losses. So this is where we're at today. We got Dynamic Shotcrete. They're servicing us in Los Angeles. So when you work in LA, everything costs more. It's further. For some reason, the concrete's more expensive, the plaster's more expensive. Everybody that comes out here wants gas money, so prices tend to be 10 to 15 bucks more per yard for everything, and it's expected, right? We got a 2-3 hour drive back home, but you have to know that. Being that it's our first project, we're using it as a learning opportunity to really figure this place out, and good thing we learned it here because we were able to sign 4 more on the same street. So let me bring it to Dynamic. So tell them, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
So
what's your job?
So my job is to make sure everything's aligned. Victor's happy, the client's happy. Right now we're using a 4,500 PSI mix that's been applied to the swimming pool right now. So the process is about an hour per truck. Typically they give you about 45 minutes to an hour to unload each truck. So we'll probably be here for another 3-4 hours. And once that's all said and done, you know, from there you'll just water the pool twice a day, like if you're watering grass. Let it cure, let it get stronger, and you should be breaking over 6,000 PSI at that point.
Yeah, so when we get that 4,500 PSI, especially in LA County, you gotta have a deputy inspector. You'll see him running around here, big Samoan cat. So his job is to take samples of the shoe, making sure that we have the proper strength, because when we get final inspection, they're gonna ask for that deputy report. And basically they take it to the lab, they test the concrete, they do a break test to ensure that you have the proper PSI when it's all cured out. Whenever you're in LA County, sometimes Orange County, or any city for that matter, look at your structural plans. It's gonna have some notes on there where it's talking about the Shotcrete and whether or not you need a deputy inspector. So I got Justin here with Archuleta Inspections. He's gonna tell you a little bit about what they do, why we need them, and why we hired them for this job. So what's up, man? Tell me what you guys do for this.
So honestly, like deputy inspection just requires us to come in as a homeowner's representative.
Okay.
So we're coming in for whoever's paying for the job, making sure that everything.
I thought you were representing me, so they don't jack me on the weakness. Because the concrete companies, they work for somebody else. They can mix up the batch, spray me some weaker strain. So I thought you were looking out for me, but I guess it is looking out for me and the client, right?
Right. So you hire me through the client. So, but technically, I just got to make sure, like you said, that the PSI is up to date. The mix design is correct for the application that we're using, and then make sure the process is done correctly. The rebar is covered.
So what's the worst stuff that you've seen, like with some builders? Like, what are some tips from builders that you've seen like that we should not do?
Definitely, you want to have all your city inspections completed before we get on site.
Yeah, okay.
Like sometimes I'll show up on the site, they're already shooting. They don't have
pre-shotcrete.
They don't have city inspection. They didn't get the soil done. They didn't get the rebar done, and it all has to come back out.
Wow. So that means you got to rip the whole pool out after you started, right? So actually, you asked me, you're like, hey, I didn't see the signature here, but the inspector signed the back of the card. So what else? What are some other tips you can give people to look out for?
Honestly, you want it done correctly. You want to get a good deputy inspector, because as somebody who's been doing it for a while, because honestly, they'll know the tricks of the trade on what these guys are trying to get away with or what they're trying to do correctly, but it just doesn't look correct at the moment.
Right. So what happens if it comes back and it's not strong enough?
Usually they'll wait for a longer period of time, give the on-site field cure, time to cure, and then they'll core it.
Core it, like cut out a chunk of the shell.
Of the pool.
Okay.
And then crush that.
Wow. But what if it's not strong enough? Rip it out?
Concrete is always going to get harder. So
over time.
So over time, they'll either give it an extended time, like 60 days, and then core it again.
Yeah.
Or they'll rip it out.
Wow. Have you had people how to rip out stuff?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. LA City, I had a footing job 3 stories down, and I didn't see the soils report, and I didn't see the city sign it, and the guy wanted to pour anyways.
Yeah.
I let him know, and then 30 days later I was there for the same job for the same thing.
Dang. All right, so that's Justin. So I told you guys, remember, check your card. Make sure if you need a deputy, have them here. If not, you're going to be coring out a sample, doing things after the fact. It's going to stall out your project. Worst case, you got to rip the whole thing out. So ArchuletaInspections.com, give them a call. So one of the bad things about LA is that everything takes forever, from requesting a permit to requesting inspections to them showing up. If we would have had the inspector here a day before, we could have avoided all this muddy mess. But it's just a big city, it's very bureaucratic, everything's slow. So that's something that we got to get used to. So plan accordingly. Here in California, we're used to sunshine and rainbows, and all of a sudden we got a bunch of rain that has us mucking around all this nasty mud. So whenever you have that, it's going to make it hard on everybody. You make a mess. That's why we always make sure we clean up after we're done, sweep down, wash down the street, because nobody wants to walk through your mess. But yeah, this sucks. Playing in the mud sucks, but you know, you got to get the job done one way or another. So when you're thinking about getting a pool, a lot of people think that, okay, great, I saw a design, I like the design, the plan, the bill, and you might think you're ready to dig the next day. It's not quite how it works. Here in LA County, everything works slower. Once you have the plan and the engineering, you send it off to the city, and depending on how efficient your permit runner is, you'll be able to get it in any time between 5 and, who knows, 6 months. It depends how complicated your design is. But here, you know, luckily we had a really cool client. He's a personal friend. Honestly, I would have fired myself a long time ago just going through all this stuff. But, you know, I made it really clear to him that, you know, we weren't going to punk out. And as long as he was willing to like roll with the punches with me, we're going to knock this project out. So today is a huge milestone. Once we have Shotcrete in the pool, we'll be able to start putting in our finishes. We already ordered everything. Everything to complete this job is here. We have our block, we have our tile, we have our stacked stone, we have all the equipment. Everything is here ready to go. So this was the biggest hurdle that we had to overcome, and luckily we did that today. So here we are, late afternoon, Friday. We're probably gonna have a 3-hour drive home, but we're gonna shoot this damn pool today. I don't even know if this is real or not, but you know, all the marketing gurus and pros, they'd say that you gotta put some hangers out. This is being a new neighborhood, so I got some of these made. Do I think they'll work? No, but you know, it's gonna put our name out there. Hopefully they just walk by, see the work being done. When you work on a busy street like this, you get a chance to see how different companies work, right? There's probably about 4 or 5 different companies that are building all through this new track. So you get to see the little things they do, like how much mess are they leaving on the street? Are the guys throwing their lunches and tortillas on the sidewalk? And you know, this is a nice neighborhood in Porter Ranch. Houses are $2.5, $3 million a piece. People get them blank with just dirt. So right away they're going to be looking for somebody to make it nice. So you have your mixed bag. You have your high-end companies, you have your middle of the road, and then you have the low guys that are trying to charge what the high-end companies charge, and then they end up leaving a mess everywhere. So I don't know if these will work, time will tell, but I'm gonna hang them up anyways because that's what all the big dogs do. So we'll see if this company, this house ends up hiring us. I always thought that these things were just throwaways. That's why I didn't want to spend the money. I know when I get home and I see stuff hanging on my door or on my driveway, I just throw it away. I don't even look at it. But when you're in a new neighborhood, maybe having your logo there just gives them that one little thing. We have a QR code. I want to get them to real work. I don't want them just to see pretty pictures and sales pitches. I want to give them a ballpark of what things start at, give them an idea, but eventually get them to the website where they can see the actual work, who we are, and make the phone call, schedule an appointment. So we'll see if it works or if this was money wasted.